Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Dozens of law enforcement officers from 3 counties are involved in a standoff with an armed man near Thief River Falls at this hour.
Now, it all started as a domestic altercation this morning. At this point, no one has been injured. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson's on the scene with the very latest.
This apparently started at 10:30 this morning at a farmstead here 15 miles southeast of Thief River Falls. Sheriff Ray Kuznia says there was a domestic altercation between a husband and wife and or girlfriend. The woman got out of the house safely, but at this point they're not sure if the husband, the male, is still in the house armed or if he's out in the area among some shelter belts right here.
We've tried to make contact with one of the individuals and have not made contact with him. We believe he's at the farmstead, and what we're trying to do is trying to make contact with him so we can resolve this peacefully and no one will get hurt.
Is just a male alone in the house now?
Correct. Just one person inside the house.
And you believe he's armed?
Well, I should say I believe he's in the house. We don't know that for sure. We know that he's in the immediate area, whether it's in an outbuilding, in the trees, or in the house.
Sheriff Kuznia says they hope to wait out the suspect and have this incident end peacefully. Near Thief River Falls, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
And keep it here with all the latest developments on this story and on valleynewslive.com.
This should not happen to us as a minority group. People should not address us when an individual do things. They should address the person, and our name should be spared out of it because we are good people.
Local Liberians are speaking out, saying they have been misrepresented by a few members of their same culture breaking the law. Members of the local Liberian community sat down with Fargo police today to talk about recent crime and come up with some solutions. Concerns were brought up about how the people of Fargo view their community, saying some are grouping the whole Liberian community with the 2 arrested. Isaac Nima and Luke Goodbridge are behind bars tonight after police say they were involved in a home invasion and assault yesterday and are linked to other recent incidents. Police say they're living in the country illegally.
A local immigration worker tells us the violence began over a girl, saying it has nothing to do with their Liberian culture. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson met up with those at the meeting, and she has this exclusive story.
To tell the people of Fargo that we as a Liberian, we are good people, we are working people, we are taxpayers, we live in the homes, we here with our family, and we respect the law of the land.
Aaron Danukai, president of the Liberian community in North Dakota, says when he walks into a store, people look at him like he's a criminal.
People see us, they say, oh, another new American, another immigrant, or another refugee. On the social media, people say things that you don't want to read, and that is not us.
What we were dealing with this week were a couple members of our community that were committing crimes. They were criminal acts, and we were pursuing those criminal acts and investigating them. And I think that's where the focus needs to stay.
While Lutheran Social Services has no ties to the 2 arrested for the recent street war, CEO Jessica Thomason still wants to be part of the conversation between police and the Liberian community.
As human beings, we try to connect the dots. We try to make sense of things in whatever way we think we know. And so people are maybe making a leap that isn't necessarily the appropriate leap to make.
They shouldn't be judging us by the skin of our color or the color of our skin. They should judge us for who we are and what we do.
Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Fargo Police Chief Todd says the people fighting weren't being cooperative with police because of a few of them have a criminal background. Nima has a history of robbery and criminal trespassing. More people are linked to the violent events of late, and police say more arrests are possible.
Well, to our weather now, a quiet and dry day out there, sunny, and man, it is warm. Let's head to Hutch Johnson to see if there's anything to be concerned about tonight. Hutch?
Well, the immediate answer to that in Fargo-Moorhead, nothing to be concerned about. Temperatures just perfect, 79 degrees, 77 Valley City and Langdon. Detroit Lakes also light winds and 77 degrees. The radar does show a couple of blips in northwest Minnesota, and actually it looks like some areas could be seeing some moderate to heavy rain showers in Kittson and Roseau counties in the upcoming couple of hours or so. As we head through the evening, though, Fargo-Moorhead looks to remain dry. Temperatures will stay, Stephanie, in the 70s until just after sunset, when we'll dip into those more comfortable 60s. A perfect evening ahead of us tonight. And it does look like we have more great weather to talk about, a couple of chances of storms, and we'll detail it all in a few minutes.
We like that great weather.
I do too.
All right, thank you, Hutch. Well, a couple in West Fargo finally got their hundreds of dollars back. That's after a contractor agreed to work on their house and never did. Kyle and his bride-to-be, Brianna, are expecting their first child in just a few weeks. They wanted to fix up their home before the child arrived. They found the contractor online and say they thoroughly researched him and his partner before hiring them. But after they paid, things went south.
You know, I want my home fixed, and I want to be able to come home and have a sealed roof and be able to sleep nice at night. And he promised me all that, and he bailed. Just up and bailed on me. Worst breakup I've ever had.
Now, the contractor paid back the money in full just last night, weeks after the couple tried to contact him. Now, the contractor says the delay in returning the cash is because his partner left him, he was out of town, and the couple changed how much work they wanted done. Now, experts advise asking to see a contractor's licenses and never paying in cash to avoid situations just like this.
2 Grand Forks teenagers are facing charges after police say they threatened to shoot students at Central High School. Police got a phone call in late March saying a shooting would happen in the next morning at Central High. Now, the school was notified. Extra officers were assigned to the school for the next day. Police now believe the threat was likely a hoax, but the investigation did lead officers to 2 15-year-old suspects. The teens are since facing charges for making a false report and conspiracy to terrorize.
A woman charged with helping an inmate escape from the Lake Region Law Enforcement Center in Devil's Lake is set to plead guilty. Rachel Chapoulis, who was a jailer at the facility, is facing 4 federal felony charges, including obstruction of justice and concealing an escaped prisoner. She allegedly gave inmate Wesley Brown clothes, a fake ID, and information on how he could get out. Brown and Chapoulis were eventually arrested together in Oregon after 19 days on the run. Chapoulis' attorney has filed a change of plea notice, and Brown is facing felony escape charges and is set to stand trial in Fargo.
There's a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of 2 thieves. Police in Fergus Falls, Minnesota are on the lookout for a man and a woman who walked into a senior living apartment complex and walked out with a flat-screen TV. It happened Sunday morning at the Red River Village. Now, in the surveillance photos, you can see the pair working their way down a hallway with a big TV. They loaded into a vehicle parked out front. Police are also looking for an early 2000 red Pontiac Grand Am or Grand Prix. If you recognize the people in these pictures or the vehicle, contact Fergus Falls Police.
The community is continuing to band together to support the family of baby Owen Skoji. The infant found unresponsive at a West Fargo daycare last week and then later died from what authorities say was blunt force trauma to the head. Tiny Tykes Childcare in Fargo just wrapped up a popcorn and a lemonade stand. The funds will go toward the Skoji family, and the money raised will be matched by Healing Arts Chiropractic and Craft Concrete.
As our weather heats up, thousands of kids across the region will be jumping into lakes and backyard pools. The experts say to keep your kids safe, keep a close eye on them. On average, 10 people die every day from drowning in non-boating related accidents in the U.S. 80% of the people who die from drowning are male, and children ages 1 to 4 have the highest drowning rates. When it comes to backyard pools, lifeguard Allison Maxwell says kids can get into trouble in less than 2 seconds. Now, Maxwell says that she's saved more than 10 people during her career as a lifeguard. She strongly suggests that all children take swimming lessons. Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 10 at 10, Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop will show us how some Fargo restaurants and businesses are struggling to stay fully staffed, leaving some to temporarily close.
Well, coming up later on Valley News Live at 6, not your ordinary day at the library. We'll listen in on these great performers.
Any severe weather tonight, well to our south. It looks like quiet weather for the time being. I'll have details on when that changes coming up right after the break.